Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hey, y'all, what's up? Um, Coming to you day late, but I apologize. But anyway, I'm here now. Um, One of the things that I enjoy, I think about all the time. I miss these people terribly. My grandparents. You mean your grandparents? Those people, your parents' um, the ones who feed you full of candy when your parents aren't looking, and then send you home, tell you there's no such thing as no with grandma and grandpa. Um, but I remember my grandparents, like my grandmother. She was a tomboy growing up, and she's apparently pretty fast, had a lot of speed, and would race the boys and beat them a lot and piss them off. When a girl beats you, it's like the only thing is that your boys that are there too, they get their ass beat too, so they can't say nothing. It's just we all lost to this girl. All right, well, we give her mad respect because she's bad. She's bad. But yeah, and then she got older. Obviously, as a woman, um, she still had that mentality. Like, don't play with me. You about to piss me off, and if you try to run, I'm gonna catch you. If I can't catch you on foot, you see that vehicle right there? I'm gonna jump in that vehicle and I'm gonna track you down. Which you ask my cousins, man. She did that to my cousins one time. They were staying with her for a little bit, and yeah, they were telling me the story how you know my older cousin was kind of, and he like tried to run. My grandmother went and got her Plymouth. And they show you how old school she is. Got her Plymouth. I don't think it was a Duster. I can't remember what kind of Plymouth it was. Anyway, she went to Plymouth and like went looking for him, found him, brought him home. So yeah, but I learned. I think more than anything from her, I learned my people skills. Both my grandparents had their own version of people skills, but they're a very people person. People used to come over the house all the time. I remember they were the first people that taught me that you know people are people. You know, they had a lot of white neighbors, and those white neighbors would come over all the time, bring them food, come over, hang out, talk to my grandmother, and she was just a very lovable lady, funny when she wanted to be, very church going, um, and she taught me not just people skills, but how to have love for everybody, man. How to have love for everybody. My grandfather, talk about him. He was a man of few words. When he spoke, he was like, it was his name, the Hutton, whatever the commercial. When he talks, people listen. Dabney's talking, and they would listen. And yeah, he was one of them cats. You didn't think he was paying attention to your conversation because he's watching TV, but no, he was paying attention to everything you said, and that sometimes that led to kind of arguments between him and my grandmother, which that was some of the scariest things, man, when they got into an argument, because she was not scared of him. He was bigger than she was not scared. So I remember the one time in particular, he was in there watching westerns or whatever in the next room, and my grandmother was in the kitchen with, I can't remember, probably my mom and whoever else, and they were just talking smack about him, dude. Boy, he started chiming off, saying stuff, man. Next thing I know, the proverbial doo-doo hit the fan, man, and they were arguing. I was just like looking at my mom, and my mom's like, all right, kids, time to go. He's like, you're right, Mom, it's time to go. But yeah, my grandfather, what I learned about him was my love for sports, in particular baseball. He played in like the minor Negro leagues back in the day, and he was apparently pretty good. And so I had learned my love of like baseball from him, and also his love of westerns. Um, I remember like my first attempt at doing stand-up comedy was in tribute to my grandfather. He had just passed away within the last 2 years or whatever, and I just told a little story that I never told my mom, and he never told my mom until I was probably in my 30s. But he was a big Western fan or whatever, and grandfather's that time of day, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, getting a recliner. Not in the morning, in the afternoon, excuse me, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He getting a recliner, kick back, and you know what happens next. So he was watching his western or whatever, and I was a little rambunctious little boy, kept running back and forth in front of the TV. So he just leaned over, whap, sit down. So he made me sit down, and I had this. It was this plastic chair. It was a red plastic chair, from I can't remember what the company was, but so I was sitting down in my red plastic chair. I wasn't hurting. My feelings were hurt. I was pissed off. So you don't tell me what to do. I might be a little boy, but I'm grown. So I just sat there and waited and waited and looked at him, and like I said, as all grandfathers do. As soon as his head went down, I jumped up out that little red chair, ran by my grandfather, pow, right upside his head, man. And he was trying to reach for me when I went running into the kitchen. But like I said, he never said a word to my mom. Thank God, because she probably would have, I wouldn't be able to sit down for like 2 months. So, yeah, I wrote a poem about that, and that was my first attempt at comedy. And, as soon as I read it, people were laughing. And, yeah, it was, you get the first feel of somebody laughing at something you said, a room full of people. It's addictive, it's addictive, and you won't go back. So, I thank both of them for like the impact that they've had on my life, even to this day. Both of them been gone for quite a while, but gone, but not never forgotten. And I'm sure my cousins, you ask them, they have questions. They have stories that they can tell you like about that. Which, Keith, hit me up, dog. Kai, hit me up, dog. Say, Chacon, what's up, man? Holla at your boy, man. And yeah, that's that. So anyway, I'm coming to you a day late. I got a kamikaze show for you tomorrow. I got one of my boys coming back on again, kind of a repeat appearance. And then I'm really working on this cat that I want to get on. He came from like a little small town, and meager beginnings, and he just took education very seriously, and he followed his dreams and was able to play college football. So yeah, I want to get him on and be positivity for kids, not just minority kids, whatever, but kids from meager beginnings, which you can be white, black, whatever, and you can learn something from this cat. So anyway, this is it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I appreciate the donations. Once again, it's Cash App, hashtag Michi Man, MECHMAN. Bam, holla at your boy. And subscribe, please. I've got, I keep adding new subscriptions. I want more. So, thank you guys. Peace out.